As you can tell, I have two mugs right here, one with a green D, one with a red D. One was made using the Cricut Mug Press and one was not. Let's get a look at them. Okay, so there's the first one with the red D in the middle. Look at how gorgeous it is. And here is the other one that has the green D in the middle. Which one of these do you think was made with the Cricut Mug Press? Stick around to the end to find out. Let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, we are making some mugs, and I promise you, I think this is one of the cutest things I've ever made. I use two of my favorite products of all time, the Cricut Mug Press and Cricut Infusible Ink, and I am going to take you step by step through this full process. At the end of the video, if you find it helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The materials I'll be using for this tutorial include my Cricut Maker. I'm using my heat-resistant gloves, two green standard grip mats, two different colors of Cricut Infusible Ink, two Cricut 15-ounce beveled ceramic mugs, my Cricut Mug Press. I'm also using this PYD Life Craft Hobby Mug Press just because I haven't used it in a while. I'll use this 15-ounce PYD Life mug to heat up the mug press, and I'm using the Artist Spree heat press mat for sublimation. Without further ado, let's head into Cricut Design Space. I am in Cricut Design Space, and the first thing I'm going to do is go over here to projects, and I'm going to search for a project that I already have bookmarked because I already have this template set up and I don't need to keep searching for it. If you are going to be following this project, look for the mug design setup. It's the one that has over 20,000 likes. I'm going to click on this option. The mugs that I'm using are the beveled mugs. It's the beveled Cricut mugs, and I'm going to select this one. If you're not using the exact same mugs that I'm using, if you're just using the 15-ounce Cricut mugs, you would select large straight edge, and if you're using the smaller Cricut mugs, you would select small straight edge. The edge is just referencing how you want the edge of the design to be cut. For example, if I wanted to have a ripped edge look, I would go with that one. If I wanted to have a wavy edge look, I would go with that one. But I'm not going to go with either of those. I just like to stick with a straight edge. I'll click Customize. And what I'm going to do now is look over here. I can look and I can see that this is a layered design because I can see there's an arrow right here. If I click the arrow, I can see the gray part of the template is actually what wraps around the mug. And this outer part will be, in some cases, you can use it as butcher paper, but I'm not going to use it today. Okay, what I'm going to do instead is I am going to look at the size of the gray part of the template. When I look at this, it is 8.75 by 4.17. 8.75 is the width and 4.17 is the height of the template. I am going to divide this template into 3 parts, and for me, this was the easiest way to do a repeating pattern. However, if you don't want to do it this way, of course, you can divide the template in half and just duplicate it once. I'm going to just divide mine into 3 parts so I can duplicate it twice. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. 8.75 divided by 3 is 2.91. So 2.91 is going to be the width. I'm going to come over here to shapes and I will select a square. I'll just bring it over here. I can close this out. The width of my square is 2.91. I'll click enter and I'm going to unlock the proportions and change the height to 4.17 because that matches the height right here. So if I were to duplicate this rectangle 2 more times, it would fit perfectly in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just change the color of my rectangle to, I'll just change it to like this yellow for now. All right, and what I will do now is start to type my name. I'm going to click on text, and I'm not using any of the Cricut fonts. The reason why I'm not is because if you are following this tutorial and you don't want to, and you're not using Cricut Design Space, you'll still be able to do this in the cutting software that you have. So I'm going to be using my system fonts. My system fonts are any of the fonts that I've purchased outside of Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to scroll down. One of the fonts that I like to use is one that's called Baby Chubby, and I downloaded that one from Creative Fabrica. All the fonts that I'm using will be linked below this video. I'm going to type my name, and I'm actually going to duplicate it a few times and just move the others out of the way so I don't have to keep typing it. Okay, so now I have Baby Chubby. I'm going to go ahead and attach it right here, and I'm going to resize it so that it fits here on top of this template. Okay, I'm going to bring it over here. I'll bring it down. Okay, I want everything that I make should fit inside this yellow rectangle. All right, so now I'm going to grab another version of my name, and okay, I guess I grabbed this one, and I want to change the font, so I can just click over here and I can select a different font. Let's find something that is more like cursive or fun. Let's see what Billy Betty looks like. I don't love it. Let's see, Blustina. Okay, I like Blustina. Let's go with Blustina. Let's go ahead and attach it. And I want to bring it down. And I want to rotate this. So I'm going to come up here to rotate on the top menu. And I want to rotate it by 90 degrees. Like that. And I'll bring it and just put it right here. I think that looks great. Now I just want to grab another version of my name. Okay, oh, okay, Cricut is deciding. Okay, I want this one, that's fine. And I'll change the font. I'm going to change it to, let's see, Hayrod Farms. I like that. It's a little bit fun, but let's see what Whimsical Wishes. I like Whimsical Wishes. Let's attach it and bring it up like that. I think this is looking great so far. Okay, let's grab another version of my name. Let's scroll down. See, I'm not having to type my name over and over and over. I typed it one time and I'm just selecting it. I'm going to attach this and kind of bring it down. I want to be very careful because with Infusible ink, it is no fun weeding when the text is too small. Let's rotate that one by 90 degrees. You know what? Let me undo that. Let's bring this one up and rotate it. Let's rotate that one by 90 degrees like that. Right here, put it right there. And then let's bring this one down and kind of do it like that. This is looking great. Now let me go over here and just grab the text box again, and I just want to type a D, but I want it to be like a standard D, one that's very easy to read. So let's see. That one is, let's see, that D. Do I love it? Do I love it? I love it. Let's move it down. That looks great. So I actually don't need this one right here. I'm going to delete this, but I want to find something to fill that space in. So what I want to do is come back over here to images, or like I can go to shapes, and I just want to grab a heart, and I want to add that heart in there. Okay, let's close this out and let's bring this heart up and fit it in there. Nothing should be touching another thing. Okay, I think it looks excellent. Okay, so now what I want to do is turn this square off, this yellow rectangle basically I'm going to turn that off. I'll select everything right here and I will click combine. And let me go ahead and duplicate this just in case I change my mind about it. Hold on. Cricut Design Space. You're so funny sometimes. Let's go ahead and just group that together and turn it off. And I have a backup just in case something goes wrong. Okay, now I have my file. I have everything. It looks great to me. And what I want to do is click combine and weld. So now this is one layer. What I want to do, let's change the color so we can see it really nicely on top of here. Let's just change it to red, of course. And let's bring it on top. And let's right click and duplicate this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to duplicate it one more time right there. This is looking great. All right, and now what I want to do is select all three layers, hold my shift key. I'm going to select the first layer, look at my layers panel, pay attention to what's going on in the layers panel. Selecting the first layer, I'm going to hold my shift key and select the other two layers. I will go to align and align them to the bottom. So now they're all lined up. They look great to me. But I also want to be careful that none of my layers are really touching another layer. I don't want that to happen. And I am going to, let's attach them for now. And let's make these a little bit bigger because I lost all of the space that was on the outside. So I do have some wiggle room around my name. So what I can do is just kind of make it a little bit taller. I think that looks great. A little bit taller right there. That looks excellent. All right, so now with this layer, this is all, I want this to be one layer. Right now it's attached, so it's really not one layer because I can look and see. It's really three layers. What I want to do is select this layer, this group, and I want to go to combine and weld. And when I weld this, now it really and truly is one layer. Now what I'm going to do is select my welded layer and I'm going to hold my shift key and I'm going to select the gray layer of the mug wrap template. So now I have two layers selected. I have my welded result, which is just a collection of my name. And I also have the gray layer of the mug wrap template. With two layers selected, the first thing I'm going to do is click align and center. And then the next thing I'll do is click slice. And I will get this sliced out. So I can take this first layer right here and just move it over to the right. And I can just actually turn this one off. Let's turn that one off. I'm left with one layer that does not have an outer border, basically. And I have one layer that does. I can turn all the rest of this off or I can delete this. I'm just going to turn it off. Okay, I'm going to take that and I can just turn this off also. Okay, so I have two layers, both my name. I'm going to click make. Do I want to save this? I'll say yes. I'll just call it the Delonda 15-ounce mug and I'll click save. And it's going to take me to the next screen. Okay, so now I have both of my templates. I want to move this one down to just like right here, like right below the 7 and in between the 12. And I'll move this one just down a little bit and I'll click continue. And okay, I am going to choose the Infusible Ink transfer sheet. With it automatically mirrors my design. Let's look at my design. You can see my name has been mirrored. And I am going to cut this with more pressure. Everything I'll do from here will be back on the camera. As it turns out, I'm only going to use one mat. I have my green Infusible Ink face up on the mat. Really, I should have tried to get these wrinkles out, but I think it's going to be fine. And I have my red Infusible Ink at the bottom. I'm going to insert it into my Cricut Maker and click the flashing arrow and get this cut out. I'll speed this part up. Okay, my infusible ink has finished cutting. Before removing this from the mat, I'm definitely going to make sure that it really did cut all the way through, because trust me, it would be a nightmare if it didn't. And I started removing this. See it cut through. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this removed, and we'll go to an overhead view so I can show you how I'm going to weed this and mix the colors. Now, infusible ink is different than most other projects or products you're going to work with because you weed it with your fingers. So what I'm going to do first is just turn my mat over and carefully remove the infusible ink from the mat. Also going to cut away this piece right here because it's just extra. So what I'm doing right here is carefully peeling the full sheet of infusible ink away and making sure that the letters are still intact. So any part of the template that I plan to use on the mug should still be on the adhesive backing. You will need to take your time with this, especially if you're using any type of script fonts. But if you're using individual letters, I suggest using letters in all caps, especially if this is your first time. Still just take your time and peel away the infusible ink that you don't plan to use very carefully and very slowly. Now, everything I've peeled away is infusible ink that I don't plan to use, and it's looking really good. That's why I like to use the more pressure option when I'm cutting infusible ink. And I'm also keeping in mind that everything that I do plan to use, I'm going to have to transfer it to the green part of the template. Stay tuned. I'm going to take you through the process. That the major parts have been removed, what I'm doing right now is removing the inside parts of the letters. So the inside of the D, the inside of the O, the inside parts of the E. And I'm just, once again, being very careful. Look at my template. It's looking great. You know how much I love red if you've been in my community for any length of time. So I'm already excited about this, but let's keep going. Okay, I finished weeding the red part, and now I'm going to weed the green. Green layer gives me somewhat of an advantage because where I remove the green parts, I can still see where to put the red letters. For example, like if I just take this A out right now and I put the red A in, I know exactly where it goes. So that kind of lets me know like what parts I want to fill in, what parts I want to switch out. It was good when I was starting out, but as I got towards the end of weeding the green, I realized having that advantage at the beginning wasn't very helpful. However, this process is not as hard as you may think it is because all you're doing is switching it out, and you can clearly see where the letters and the shapes go just by looking at the adhesive. So I'm starting out by just switching out the letters, but by the end is going to be a free-for-all, just trying to put the red where the red will go and the green where the green will go. So far, so good. Let me slow this part down just a little bit so you can get a really good look at how this process goes. I think I was getting a little bit fancy once I got to this part because I was starting to alternate the colors between red and green just to add some contrast on the templates. And I was just so eager to see how this was all going to work out. But get a good look because you will be experiencing this if you plan to try this same project. When you remove that big part, the green part, that's where you're going to have to start to pack your patience, because you will start to realize it's really going to be up to you to get the letters back into place where you want them. This is going to take some time, but through the magic of editing, I'm able to speed this up. But pack your patience, you can do it. All right, let's look at the two templates up close. This is my first one, And you can see none of my letters have the inside piece. So be careful if you are doing something like this for the first time. I highly, highly, highly suggest that if this is your first time using infusible ink, you stick to capital letters because they'll be easier to work with. These are a little bit challenging. You just want to make sure you get the inside pieces off. And remember, whatever you remove in terms of the letters from one template, that's what you're going to place on the other template. So you can look and see some of mine are not very straight, but it's okay because I know my name. And even right here, if I wanted to kind of mix it up, I could. Like I could mix up some of these letters. This looks a little bit plain. I think I'm going to do that because this is just like red, green, green. I think I'm going to mix in these two, and I'll do the same thing over here. But the possibilities are endless. You could do a fall theme, a Christmas theme. You can have candy canes. You can do whatever you want. And I'm excited to see what you will do with this project. I want you to know that layering infusible ink is not as hard as you might think it is, especially if you find the right font and the right items. Remember, if you're using images, you are looking for cut files, not photos. You can't use photos with infusible ink. Now let me prepare my tumbler press. We'll use the first mug press, the PYD Life first, and then we'll use the Cricut Mug Press. Okay, let's go back to our regular view. Okay, so this is the PYD Life. This is called a craft hobby mug press, and it's been a long time since I used this, probably over a year and a half. So it does go up to 482 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 999 seconds. Does have a digital control, pressure knob, silicone pad. You can change the different silicone pads out. You can, you know, purchase the one that you are looking for. I'm just looking at the manual, okay? All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and power it on. Right here on the side. It's been a long time. All right, and according to the manual, ceramic mugs should be 356 degrees for 280 seconds. I'm not going to go with that. I'll do 356 degrees for 360 seconds. So it's heating up. It does say that you should heat it up with the mug inside. This is a PYD Life mug. So I'm just going to put it inside right here while this is heating up. Let me check the pressure. Okay, that's too much. So one difference about this and the Cricut Mug Press is that you can change the pressure. Okay, still too much. Guess I need to know that ahead of time. Still too much. No, with the Cricut Mug Press, you don't need to do any of this. It's automatic. Still too much. Turning the mug upside down so I can line it up to the top. That's where I like to line my mugs up, at the top. Taking this one out, put it right here, and we shall see. I have it on 356 for 360 seconds, and I'm not using butcher paper. I really don't think I need it. I think it's fine. And we'll close it. Add a little more pressure. I'm going to press start. I'll speed this part up while I'm getting the second mug ready. Okay, the timer went off. Let me get my gloves and take this out and hope and wish and wish and hope. I think it went through. I think it did. You can see it through there. I think that was a good time. And I'm going to leave this one right here. And I am going to use my little Sharpie right here and put a P under here. Oh, it's not hot. I put a P. You know, you can't tell that's a P. P-Y-D. I put a P-Y-D. So we know this one is the one that was completed with the PYD Life Craft Hobby Mug Press. I'm going to turn this one off, get my Cricut Mug Press turned on, and we will see what we see, because we're excited. We're very, very excited. All right, Cricut is ready. Let's move it over here so we can see what we see. Put the mug in. I think I taped it good enough. I hope I did. To the right. Close it up. And let it go through a cycle. It's going to go through 5 beeps. And it'll beep when it's finished. I'll speed this part up. All right. My Cricut Mug Press has beeped. And I'm going to lift the lid, put on my Delonda gloves, carefully pull this out. Remember, this is the Cricut, this is the PYD. We're gonna look at this one first while this one is heating up and see what we see. All right, I'm using the artist-free heat pad, sublimation heat pad. Let me let you see that. It's very thick, very good. I'm nervous about this. I don't know why. This is the PYD Life. So I wrote that on there. Let's see. I'm gonna put this back in there. All right, so I did 2 additional minutes on the PYD Life mug. This is still my Cricut mug. I'm going to unplug this and move it out of the way again, and we will see what we see. Now, because I did this one again, I'm going to still start with this one. This is the PYD Life. Let's see how it did. Let's move this over. It did not look like that the first time, trust me. Look at that. I'm excited. Look. Oh. I was literally going bananas at how cute this is. I promise you, I am under the impression that this is one of the cutest things I've ever made. I love this so much. Oh my gosh. Finished getting all of the infusible ink off. It was time to look at the mug made with the Cricut Mug Press, but oh my goodness, I just love it so much. Look at that. So stinking cute. Oh my goodness. Now you know the answer to the question that I asked at the beginning of the video. One of these was made with this PYD Life Craft Hobby Mug Press, and one was made with the Cricut Mug Press. And as you can see, both of them turned out fantastic. And not only that, now you know the exact right settings to use if you're going to be using these mugs with this mug press. Now, some of you may be asking, what else can you do with this mug press? Why would you get this one instead of getting a Cricut mug press? Well, you know, the choice will always be yours. However, this one is cheaper than a Cricut mug press. This one will do 11 ounces, I think even up to 18 ounces. You can double check the description on Amazon if you're interested in this one. I'm pretty sure you can do those sublimation glass cans. I have not tried that with my Cricut mug press, and I probably won't do that because there are a lot of things that you will do to your Cricut mug press that will void the warranty. And of course you want to do that unless you're already beyond the warranty period and you live life on the edge. That's up to you. At either rate, hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please leave me a red heart below if you like this one the best, or a green heart below if you liked this one the best. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.